So in the series of videos, we are talking about various standard functions. This is the fourth part of this concept. You have already had three parts. If you have not checked them out, go ahead and see the functions we have discussed here. So in the previous one, we talked about modulus function. Building on that concept, let's talk about signum function. So f is from R to R. Fx is mod x by x if it is non-zero, and 0 if it is 0. If you look at the definition here, clearly it's not defined for x equals to 0. That is why we have separately found out the value. Now, if you look at this one, you know that it does not behave uniformly. It has two separate cases. One when x is greater than 0. The next one is when x is less than 0. So if x is greater than 0, mod x will be x. So mod x by x will be 1. Similarly, for this one, we can actually see the value will be minus 1. So sometimes the signum function is rewritten as this. If it is greater than 0, you're getting 1. If it is 0, you're getting the 0. Whereas if it is less than 0, it's minus 1. Now that we know about the definition, what do we need? Domain and range. The domain is very simple because it's absolutely defined for each and every real input. But when you come to the output, you will see that you can have only three values. So you can have 1, 0, or minus 1. So all the time I keep on telling that you should look at the name of the function and understand what it suggests. So the signum, it's a Latin word. It actually means sign. So suppose I'm just writing, for example, -7. So you knew that this was the absolute value. So if you have the input -7, which is less than 0, what will be the output? The output will be -1. So as you can see, we can write this as -1 into 7. So if this is the mod function, this actually extracts the sign of the input, which is the signum function. All right. So now that we already know about the definition, etc., let's go ahead and see the next thing, which is the graph. Again, we have three parts here. The first part is y equals to 1, which is very simple horizontal line at a distance, 1 unit. So this is how it will look like. Notice one thing. I have not included this here because we are not including the point 0, -1. Because if the input is 0, the output won't be 0. Sorry, 1. Look at the next part. If x equals to 0, it's 0. So I'm going to include the origin, which is 0, 0. And finally, for the third part, you have this one. So which is again a horizontal line at this distance, and it's actually below this x-axis. So this is how it will look like. Again, I have not included this, so that's why you have this open bracket. Now, the first thing that comes to your mind is whenever you draw such kind of graphs, this is what we normally do, right? So y equals to 1 or y equals to -1, but don't include these two portions, because if you look at the first one, you see that this is x less than 0. This is actually to the right side of y-axis, so this is x less than 0, but this is 1 for x greater than 0. So don't include it. Similarly, don't include this part because here x is actually greater than 0, which is not good for this one. So be very careful when you draw the graph. That's it from signum function. In the next video, we are going to talk about few more standard functions. So stay tuned.